stands motionless, a gun aimed at his chest, trusting the vest and fate. This photo from the 1920s shows two men testing a bulletproof vest in the most dangerous way imaginable. One fires, the other risks everything. There were no dummies, no safety nets, just belief in their invention. The shot lands, dust rises, and the man remains standing, alive. Was it courage or recklessness? One mistake, and this image would never exist. The wind roars like a beast, yet they play, balanced on the wings of a flying plane. Gladys steadies her racket, dress snapping in the wind. Ivan steps lightly across the narrow wing, eyes on the ball. One wrong move means a fall through open sky. But there's no hesitation, just focus, rhythm, and fearless grace. Each hit echoes like a dare to gravity. In the 1920s, daredevils Gladys Roy and Ivan Unger played tennis at 3,000 feet on top of a moving plane. To us, it looks like a construction site. To them, it was adventure carved from steel and scraped knees. They climbed without ropes, balanced on beams, and fell onto hard dirt. No soft landings, no second thoughts. Bruises were part of the game. Risk wasn't hidden, it was the thrill. Childhood here was fearless by design. This striking image from 1908 reveals what a typical children's playground looked like. Dangerous, unguarded, and a reflection of a rougher, risk-ready time. Engines rumble as cars plunge into a watery ring, washing off dust with motion, not machines. Wheels splash through the shallow pool, sending ripples across the surface like raindrops in reverse. Drivers grin behind the wheel, circling endlessly, their cars baptized again and again by muddy water. It's absurd, almost comedic, a carousel of chrome and confusion. But in a world before automation, even this wild idea felt like innovation. This bizarre moment shows in the burly attempt at car washing before modern systems existed. Vehicles driving in circles through water to rinse off grime. Towering faces drift through the mist, giants of fabric and air gliding between city canyons. Children press against icy windows, wide-eyed as massive cartoon faces loom above the streets. Each float sways gently, like a dream barely tethered to earth. The crowd cheers, but beneath the joy, there's a strange, surreal quiet. Rubber smiles and stitched eyes floating through a world on the edge of war. For a few moments, fantasy replaces fear. This photo captures floats from the 1939 Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, just weeks after World War II began in Europe, offering Americans a fragile escape into wonder. She giggles in the sunlight, surrounded by teeth, tiny fingers reaching out to creatures born to bite. The baby sits barefoot in the grass, unaware of the danger curled at her feet. Dozens of baby alligators slither around her like toys, their scales glinting beneath the California sun. A caretaker watches nearby, calm, as if nothing could go wrong. But one wrong twitch, one curious nip, and innocence meets instinct. It's a scene both charming and chilling, where thrill outweighed caution and spectacle blurred the line with risk. This image comes from a California alligator farm in the early 1900s, where children were often placed among reptiles for publicity stunts. Her eyes held a fragile kind of wonder, the kind that made crowds stop, stare, and whisper, "Perfect." Marcia Pinkenfield clutches a bouquet nearly too big for her tiny arms as cameras flash and strangers cheer. Behind that poised smile lies the quiet weight of grown-up dreams stitched into a child's lace dress. At just 5, she became the nation's ideal, praised, paraded, and captured in frame. Did she know what it meant? Or just want to go home, wipe off the rouge, and play in the grass? In 1927, Marcia was crowned the most beautiful child in America, a title born from an era obsessed with pageantry and perfection. He stood tall without standing at all, his presence louder than legs could ever carry. Johnny Eck flashes a confident grin, perched beside a man twice his height, but not half his charisma. Born without a lower body, he turned difference into defiance, gracing circus stages, film sets, and city streets with unmatched charm. Crowds came to stare, but Johnny made them see he wasn't a curiosity. He was the main act. And behind every performance was a quiet kind of power, the refusal to be pitied. Johnny Eck, born in 1911, became a celebrated sideshow performer, actor, and artist, famed for turning physical limitation into fearless showmanship. A sudden roar echoed down the Champs-Élysées, as if the sky itself was threading a needle of defiance through stone and silence. Charles Godefroy grips the controls, eyes locked ahead, heart pounding louder than the engine. The Arc de Triomphe rises before him, not as a monument, but a dare. Just meters from disaster, his wings nearly graze the ancient stone. This isn't just flight, it's fury, grief, and protest stitched into motion. He isn't here to entertain. He's here to be remembered. On August 7th, 1919, French pilot Charles Godefroy flew his biplane through the Arc de Triomphe to honor fallen World War I aviators and protest military parade rules. The House of God became a fortress, its silence broken only by the shifting weight of war. Inside the stone walls, prayers gave way to preparation. Towering stacks of sandbags filled every aisle, cloaking stained glass and sacred altars. Once echoing with hymns, the church now held the heavy breath of soldiers and the dust of coming battles. It wasn't just bricks they protected. It was memory, meaning, a flicker of hope in a collapsing world. Even heaven, it seemed, needed shielding. During World War I, this French church was filled with sandbags from floor to ceiling to protect it from artillery damage on the front lines. A golden pharaoh's face stares back at a gas station in 1920s Britain. Drivers slow down, blinking at the strange sight. A fuel pump crowned like royalty, its nozzle resting where a scepter might belong. Some laugh, others stare. Egypt has taken hold, not just in museums, but in the mundane rhythm of daily life. Following the 1922 discovery of King Tut's tomb, Britain was swept by Egyptomania, leading to designs like these pharaoh-themed gas pumps. He grins, clipboard in hand, as two strangers lock lips. His gaze steady, his task absurdly scientific. Under the harsh lab lights, the air is thick with perfume and tension. Couples lean in, kiss, and part with nervous laughter. The technician scribbles notes, unfazed. Each smudge, each lingering trace of lipstick, data. His smile hides the strangeness of it all. Watching intimacy turned into metrics. This photo was taken in the 1950s during cosmetic durability tests in America, where lab technicians observed real kisses to evaluate lipstick performance. The baby's tiny frame disappears beneath a bulging gas mask, more alien than infant. The mother's hands tremble as she straps it on, the rubber swallowing her child's face. It hisses faintly, sealing tight. The baby squirms, confused, eyes wide behind fogged lenses. It was safety, they were told, protection. But to many, it felt like dressing innocence in fear. During World War II, Britain issued oversized gas masks for infants in case of chemical attacks, transforming nurseries into eerie echoes of the front lines. A giant of the sky leans in gently, as if kissing the earth, held steady by nothing but cables and human courage. Men stand perilously close, dwarfed by the sheer bulk of the airship looming overhead. One misstep, one sudden gust, and history could twist into tragedy. Yet they move with practiced calm, connecting machine to mooring mast like it's routine, not revolution. It's a fragile ballet of trust between sky and steel, and the men who dared to tether dreams. This photograph captures the USS Los Angeles, a German-built American airship, docking at the mooring mast atop the Empire State Building in the early 1930s. A brief, daring experiment in airborne travel. His beard trailed like a legend, wild, untamed, and longer than belief itself. Zach T. Wilcox didn't just grow a beard, he wore a legacy. Each twist of hair held whispers of defiance, pride, and years few dared to count. Strangers stared, children pointed, and yet he walked with quiet certainty, as if his beard had a story all its own. It wasn't vanity, it was identity. In a world racing to modernize, he stood still, rooted in something ancient, something awe-inspiring. Photographed in 1922, Zach T. Wilcox held the world record for the longest beard. A living icon, of eccentric pride and personal expression. A bullet tore through the center of his brow, yet he returned from the battlefield not in a coffin, but adorned in honor. That mark between his eyes wasn't just from war. It was survival made visible. He stood steady, eyes hardened by fire, bearing not just wounds, but stories no words could contain. The metal shone, but his silence spoke louder. This is a colorized portrait of a Union veteran from the American Civil War, wearing the Medal of Honor. The scar on his forehead is believed to be from a gunshot wound sustained in combat.